Welcome to Sensor Noise, where we took a month off in protest, ?
I don't know if it's protest. We're honoring the French tradition of not working in August. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Olympics or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we
don't.
To that,
yes. August is a time of the year where you go to the beach, I guess.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Or if you're in America, you just stay indoors because it's ungodly
hot
out.
Hot.
Yeah.
We had quite a heat wave in August, and then 1 week where it was like 65 degrees. So that was nice. And now it's
we had the same. We had so it's a sort of a Midwestern or Ohio phenomenon of the false fall, which is where it gets cold, it gets chilly enough that you're like, oh, this is nice, this feels like fall, and then it gets really hot again immediately after, and you're like, God. And that's where we were this previous week, where it was up in the mid 90s again. Fortunately, the temperature has fallen this weekend, but it's still in the mid 80s. So
I
don't know, but I mean, I was driving around the convertible today, and I wasn't burning up, so that's nice.
Well, hey, that's
the thing. People don't tell you about convertibles. You think convertibles, it's like you're going to be like comfortable all the time. But no, when it's hot out, like you're just also hot.
Yeah.
Especially if you're, doing like city driving and you're stopped at a stoplight and there's no breeze, like you're just being burned by the sun.
So I think being cool in a convertible without the air conditioning on is a California phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like here you can, because here, even when the days are hot, the air temperature is not that hot. It's the sun that kills you.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly moving through the air on the big open highway, you will be pretty cool,
Ventura Highway,
even if it's hot out. Yes, the Ventura Highway. I don't remember the lyrics to that, but
I just mentioned that because it's on my playlist at the moment. So.
Anyway, the other reason that we were off is that nothing really happened in August.
Photo-wise anyway.
Nothing happened. So there was not much to talk about.
No, there sure wasn't. And indeed, after a month, we've collected a grand total of like 4-ish news items. One is that Harman Photo, makers of Ilford films as well as the Harman Phoenix, is committed to a multi-million-pound investment in its film manufacturing capabilities. Which I think is interesting. It's good. I recall watching a video about their factory and all that, and their machine is from the 80s.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So hopefully they're going to undertake to at least maintain that or upgrade it.
They're saying that they're going to double their capacity,
which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They say it comes after what it describes as the hugely successful launch of Harman Phoenix 200, the first ever color film made entirely from emulsion to cassette at its Mobberley factory in the UK. So
they've got Phoenix. They're also making. Oh, that's from a couple years ago. Never mind. Do they still make their point and shoot disposable cameras?
So that's a different Ilford.
Is it? Oh, that's the other one, right?
Oh no, wait, no, yeah. So okay, so there's so this is confusing. So Ilford used to be in both Switzerland and the UK, and then at some point, that's Ilford Imaging Europe is the one that makes the I believe it's the Ilford Sprite, and they make a lot of it's the Sprite, and they make the Ilfo color film, which is kind of hard to get over here, but yeah. Harman does, yes, they do make a point and shoot camera that contains HP5. Which is how it's probably good they called it Harman, because otherwise that'd be really confusing. Because I have seen the Ilford Sprite on sale here, and it's like, but that's a different Ilford from the boxes of Ilford that are in the fridge next to said camera.
Right. It's worth noting, the next note we have, they're also making it in 120.
Yeah, Harman Phoenix. They've teased this, although I think it's pretty much an open secret at this point. That they're going to be making Harman Phoenix in 120. They posted a couple days ago to their Instagram, Harman Phoenix, sometimes size matters. And then, that's just, I've heard a lot that it's going to be 120, which, makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what you would do next. So I'm kind of interested because one of the things I noted in shooting Phoenix 200 on 35 is that it was fairly grainy. And at 120, that may be less of a factor because you get,
that would make sense.
So much more negative. So yeah, I'll try it. I'll try it. Well, yeah. I'm getting a little more picky about films now, though, because I just have so much, and I'm doing less film photography, sort of generally this year. So it's like I don't really need. Like I was gonna order some of that. The Lomachrome 92 Sunkissed, and I just don't. It's like I'll get to it,
Yeah. I feel like with those more like specialized. I don't know if specialized is the right word, but those more artsy, niche artisanal ones. Yeah. I feel like you got to have a particular event or a use in mind for it.
That is true.
Because you're not just going to put it in your camera and just have it ready to go. You're like do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you certainly can, I guess, but it's you got to be in a certain mood. You got to be in a certain mood to want to use like turquoise, or something like that. So,
or you could have it as a secondary. If you were shooting an event, you could have one camera that has your regular film, and then one with the film. Exactly.
Yeah,
one with your Instagram.
It's a little twisted.
A little twisted. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, speaking of films that are twisted,
they've got a new Instax has a new Instax wide camera, Instax wide 400.
Yeah,
which is basically it's just an upgraded. What was the other one? The 300 or something?
The 300, which is the one I have. Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't fall apart as easily.
Basically, what they did, it looks like, is they took the Instax wide 300 and made it like monochrome, like. What even is this? Like a sage green?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's fine. It's a fine camera. It does zone focusing, I don't know. It's fine. I do like Instax wide, like more than the other Instax formats. But yeah, the thing is Instax did make a really good, wide camera back in the day that they no longer make. Believe they made was it the Instax 100 or 200 wide that had autofocus and all that. So yeah, the Instax wide 100 AF, which was actually pretty good camera, in terms of the features that it offered. But yeah.
Now, the improvement on this one, I will say, is that it is only $149. That's a large improvement.
Yeah, that's
true. The other Instax wide ones, like over 200.
They were close to that, yeah.
Yeah.
And, certainly a decent Polaroid is, over at least that much, if not more these days,
Yeah. This is a market improvement.
Yeah,
I guess it's good. I mean, okay, for Instax's target market, it's probably fine. You got to remember, we're not their target market. Their target market is teenagers.
Oh, well, okay, all
and
right.
Like college students,
fair.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's for the Instax cameras anyway. The film is more broad-reaching, but the cameras themselves, it's really not for photographers to use.
I forgot until right now that Polaroid came out with the i2, which is their $600 instant camera.
Yeah, they did do that.
Is not in any way worth $600. I almost was at the used camera store like a week ago, and they had a Polaroid 680 SE, which is one of the best Polaroids ever made. It's basically an SX70, so an SLR, but then it has the sonar autofocus, and it can use 600 film instead of SX70 film. Probably the best instant camera ever made. And they had it for, like $500 used. That I would have paid for that.
Yeah, that's worth
if I had it at the time. But yeah.
Well, you see, this Polaroid has a screen. So that means it's worth $600.
Yeah. I'm sure.
God.
Anyway,
come on, guys, get it together.
Lens stuff. Tamron has
a few interesting lens developments, mostly to do with zooms, which is nice.
Here's the thing. You're not going to need prime lenses anymore. I think we've discussed this, but we're going all in on zooms. Tamron has a 28 to 300 millimeter zoom, f4 to 7.1. This one's for Sony E-mount, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's only $900,
which is also ridiculous. Yeah.
Apparently, it has a 28. What is it? It can do macro as well. If you zoom all the way to 300 millimeters, it has a 28 millimeter working distance, so you can do macro shots with it as well.
Jeez. Yeah. I mean, just for comparison, for my Pentax 645, and I have, which is in medium format, but I basically have, lenses that cover this range, and it's a set of 3 zoom lenses to cover this range.
Yeah.
And now on a Sony, you can just get one for less than $1,000. So
yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And here's the thing. It's pretty good, like it's fine for, if you're not like a super duper professional, photographer, like it's just fine. It's great. So
it's totally fine. It's perfect. I mean, I guess it's a little big for an all around travel lens perhaps, but I think that's just what you get if you're going full frame.
Mm-hmm. I think does Sigma have one of these too? Because I was at the camera when I was at the camera store, they had a Sigma wrap there with all the Sigma lenses, and she pointed out a lens that they say if this is the lens you would travel with because it covered a ridiculous range.
They do, right? They have let's see here. Best for travel. I think they had one that's in the same kind of range.
Yeah. Was it 60 to 600?
They've got it's an 18 to 200.
Oh, 18 to 200, yeah.
And they have an 18 to 300 as well.
Yeah.
I think those are the ones. I think
that was it. Yeah, 18 to 300 was the one I saw. Yeah.
But those are macro lenses, technically.
Yeah. But they've also got a 60 to 600.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, my.
They have a 100 to 400, but it's not as wide as the Tamron, and it's quite a bit bigger.
Yeah. So. I was just somewhat tempted by their fisheyes because, I like a big fisheye. I like a lens that is sticking way out there. It's like you see everything.
You can't put a filter on it because the lens bows out.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. You have to put.
I have an older DSLR Nikon fisheye, the 2.8, and it sticks out pretty far. I don't carry that thing around hardly ever.
Yeah, I would imagine not. In Z mount lens news, Tamron is bringing its 50 to 400 to the Nikon Z mount.
Yes, it is, which is exciting. Because the only other thing in that range is Nikon's 100 to 400, which costs 3 times the price of this thing.
Yeah. Well, they've got Nikon has a 28 to 400 as well.
Not with this aperture, though.
That's true. Yeah.
It's 4.5 to 6.3, which is basically the same as my Nikon that I bought last year. That costs 3 times the price of this lens.
Yeah.
I would have much rather bought this.
And you know what?
Probably is later.
You know what? That lens that you bought probably made by Tamron for Nikon.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, hard to say.
Yeah.
But no, this is good. More. I really hope that Tamron continues to bring more of these previously Sony only lenses over, because it puts pressure on Nikon to make cheaper and better lenses.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Tamron 35 to 105, f2 to 2.8, and that is a tremendous lens.
Yeah,
really, really good. So, yeah. Speaking of lenses, we'll move this one up. I pared down my camera gear this week.
Interesting. Okay.
And the reason I did that is because I wanted to buy a lens.
I see.
And I realized that I thought about it, and it's like, okay, there is there's a lot of camera gear that I just don't use very much, And it's like, I might as well, get something out of it while I still can. So
that makes sense.
So I'm down to basically, I would say 4 cameras, 1 digital and 3 film that I sort of regularly use.
Okay. What do you have left? I'm assuming.
What do I have left? I have the ZF, I have the F100, I have the 645N, and I have the X700.
Okay.
And those are all cameras that I have been able to rely upon. Like, they will work, regardless of how long they've been sitting or whatever.
Right.
They'll work, and they work pretty well. What I sold was my Yashica mat, which is a TLR. It's really neat, but I'm just not a square format person.
Yeah,
I've realized.
That's fair.
Yeah. The Yashica mat, the Pentax 17 I sold. Again, half frame, zone focus, not my thing, it turns out.
Yep. Fair enough.
I like that they built a new camera. I wish it had been just a regular point and shoot 35 millimeter.
Well, hey, look, they got your money.
Yeah.
So
right. They probably
your
will.
Vote was counted.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. That camera is neat, but it's just like, I don't know. I shot one roll of film through it, and then I was like, and I just couldn't convince myself to use it when I could just use my F100.
Well,
it was always losing.
But see, that's the thing. It's like the Instax. I think the Pentax 17 isn't for us.
Yeah,
because you have a better option. But if you're someone who just wants to get into film and doesn't know, I can go on eBay and how do I even know if I'm going to get ripped off? That kind of stuff.
You go to eBay and you type in Sure Shot 135U and you buy one for $40.
But people don't necessarily know that. Whereas you can walk into B&H and buy a brand new Pentax 17. Right. Yeah. It will work pretty well for most people.
Yeah.
Who don't necessarily have better things available. So that's what it's for. And it does that just fine.
Yep. I sold my Olympus XA, another one that my Olympus XA was a little bit goofy in that it worked well at high shutter speeds, but at low shutter speeds, it was not so great. And also it's just very touchy camera, sort of by design. There's not really actually a shutter button. It's more of like a shutter touchpad. And so if you have the lens cover even a little bit open and you brush up against it, click, you've exposed the frame.
That's kind of
and the XA is nice because it's a full rangefinder, but it is also very tough to focus because the rangefinder patch on it is really tiny. And it's just, I don't know. I liked it, but I wasn't using it again. That sort of
fair.
Thing. And then my Sigma, what was it, like a 100 to 500 F mount with the 1.4x teleconverter. Sold that as well, basically because I wanted to get the Nikon Z180 to 600.
Fair.
Because
Did you get it before the price went up?
I got a used one. Okay. So it didn't matter. Yes.
Because they are raising the price on the 180 to 600.
Yeah, because they realized it's too good and they were charging too much for it, too little for it. It is a really good lens.
It is quite good.
So I did that. worked out well for me. I only ended up paying like $275 out of pocket for the
that's not bad at all.
And I realized, so I did a couple weeks ago, I did a like a bird spotting photography thing, and I did not super like the results that I got from my Sigma lens on the like F to Z adapter. And I think it's just because it can't, I don't think it's able to do like the image stabilization and stuff.
Yeah, the F to Z has odd compatibility with lenses when it comes to stabilization. It seems it doesn't work with everything.
And then I was like, okay, look, like if I want, what I realized is, if I want zoom, super zoom, 600 millimeters, I'm really not going to use my film camera for that because you need the stabilization. And so it's like, I should just get the Z lens, which will stabilize nicely, with my Z camera and all of that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I wish I had the 180 to 600, but I don't, because I pre-ordered it the day they announced it, and I ordered it. So that was in like May or something. Mm-hmm. And I had an event I was going to in September where I needed it, and it still hadn't shipped. So I said, all right, well, I guess I have to go get the more expensive one. So that's what I have instead.
Well, there you go.
And then I have the teleconverters as well, which I already had. So I still have the 600 range, and I actually have 800 because I have the 2X teleconverter.
Yeah.
But it would be much more convenient to just have the 600 range in one lens. It's quite a bit lighter than this one.
Yeah, it's a remarkably light lens for how big it is. But I am also thinking that I might need at least the 1.4x teleconverter, because I was at some wetlands today and pretty far from the birds that I was trying to get, who were clear across this wetlands, and I was like, I need just a little more reach.
Just a little, yeah.
That's how they get you, I guess.
Unlike my experience with F-mount stuff, the Z-mount teleconverters, it really does not seem like you lose much of anything using them.
That's
the
what I was
lenses are still
reading.
fast. The stabilization still works. It's just as clear. They are very, very good.
Yeah, that's what I was reading too. Is that they seem to be pretty highly rated. So
the only thing you gain, or the only thing you lose, I guess, is how light it is, because they are reasonably heavy on their own.
Yeah. But I mean, here, like in this situation today, like losing one stop of brightness would not have been a big deal, because we were just in full sun, so.
Yeah. But it's not even the brightness. It's just heavy.
Right.
And on the F-mount lenses, on some of them, if you use the teleconverter, you would also lose some stabilization capabilities.
Oh, yeah.
And the autofocus would be slower for some reason.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand, because like the lens doing most of the work on the later F-mount lenses. I don't understand why the teleconverter would change that, but it did.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't seem to anymore. It focuses just as fast.
So yeah, my suggestion is, sell the camera gear you aren't using, because it turns out it's worth money.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that now. I have my D750 is still sitting over there.
You should get a Plena.
I want one, but I don't have anything to do with it.
Well, yeah, okay, that's fair.
The Plena is fantastic, but it's so specific.
It is very specific, yeah.
You have to be doing very specific things in order to make use of it, I feel like. And I don't think I do those things enough.
Yeah.
To make it worth it.
Yeah.
Also, my D750 is probably only worth like $200 at this point, so I'm not getting anywhere near enough for a Plena.
Yeah.
What I may do is turn it into a prime. I don't have a 35 millimeter prime on Z mount. I make it because the only prime I have right now for 35 is my Sigma 1.4 35 Art, which it's fantastic. but it is gigantic and heavy, and I have to use the F to Z. So it would be nice to not have to do that.
There's a fine Nikon 35. Z.
Yeah, the 35 is fine. And the 50's, like, I have the 50. The 50's good.
Yeah.
Although I suppose I could sell my 50, my Z50 and my D750 kit and all that stuff and get the 50 millimeter 1.2.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
Because that is somehow less expensive than the Plena. I don't really understand that one.
You could sell your Z9 and get a Z8, and then, you know.
I would, like, genuinely, I would if it had the GPS module, and it just doesn't.
Well,
that is the only reason I have the Z9 is for the automatic geotagging.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they won't just put that in other cameras. The GPS module costs $1. Like, just put it in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
It's important that something, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Market segmentation. Got to segment the market.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Well, you've given me inspiration. I'm going to sell stuff now, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of market segmentation, manufacturers were unprepared for the point-and-shoot camera revival. I mean,
clearly.
Yeah.
This is so funny.
The camera market has fallen off a cliff in the past, like 2 decades, but yeah.
And now you've got, it's like the camera market fell over because everyone is using their phones. Phones have started, as we talked about before, phones have started being like over processing images and making things look weird, and people don't like it.
Yeah.
And they're going back to point and shoots, and the manufacturers have nothing for them.
No, they don't. I mean, I would say, so the manufacturers that probably have the most for this are Canon and Sony, and yet they still have very little, So
the Canon has the G7X and the G5X.
Canon also has, they still have the SX740.
Oh, do they?
And a like ELPH something or other that's like $300. Worth noting that all of those are back ordered on B&H right now. Yeah.
Because previously the only people who were buying G7Xs and G5Xs and all these were vloggers. Like, those are the vlogging cameras.
Yeah.
And so,
well, these days though, you just get a ZV-1 or whatever.
Well, that's But in 2019, I remember when the G7X Mark III came out with a whole bunch of video specific features. Like, that was a vlogging focused camera.
Yeah.
And
well, what's annoying too, I imagine Canon is sort of kicking themselves because they did have a competitor to the RX100, which was the G1. And they discontinued that a number of years ago. And they should have kept that around.
The other thing is these cameras, like, they exist, right? And now on the used market, they're selling for double or triple their retail price, which is ridiculous. If you're listening to this, do not spend $1,500 on any of these. You will be very, very disappointed.
No.
These were all released around the 2018, 2019 timeframe, but they are using software and technology that's several years older than that.
Yeah, they're not really doing sophisticated. They're not really doing a sophisticated processing because the actual silicon for doing the actual imaging is not that. The actual image processing chips are not that sophisticated. Yeah, they're like 2014.
They also use anemic batteries. They use the smallest batteries possible.
That's something that you and I both encountered with the RX100 series.
It just uses awful batteries. It takes forever to turn on and off. The lens isn't even that good. And then it costs $800 new and $1,500 on the used market.
Okay, so as an example, the price of a new Ricoh GR3X digital camera, not the new GR3X HDF, but the GR3X that's came out a number of years ago.
Yeah,
out of stock on B&H, but you can pre-order it for just about a little over $1,000, $1,046. what do you think Ricoh GR3Xs used are going for on MPB right now?
2,500?
No, not quite that much, but there is none that are cheaper than $1,589.
Yeah, it's all right.
For which, like, I can't. There's no reason that you should pay more than it costs new.
No,
to get
there's never a reason frankly. To do that.
Yeah,
just wait.
It's just ridiculous.
And so what's happening now, right? Because of this problem where the actual camera manufacturers have nothing to offer and the used market has gone nuts. I keep seeing all of these like ads for effectively like 2012 smartphone cameras that somebody's put into a camera body and is selling for $10 on TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that all over the place. Just these horrible, horrible knockoff things.
I also wonder how many of those, so Minolta has been raised from the dead and used to grace a new line of extremely cheap digital cameras that are like 20 megapixels at best. And I'm wondering how much that because this one I'm looking at here, this one is $400 and it's purple. It's a 20 megapixel and it's a 1/2.3 inch CMOS sensor, which is small. But hey, it can do full HD 1080p video, so But yeah, I wonder how many of these are just okay.
Like I'm putting this in the Zencaster chat. Look, you need to look at this. This is a Minolta.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen. Yep,
$150 US.
Yeah.
What is going on with that lens and the sensor? What is that?
So the actual sensor is teeny tiny.
Yeah, this is a phone camera from the free Android phone that AT&T gave you in 2013.
This is the camera from an iPhone 3GS.
Yeah. But it's 30 megapixels, I guess.
But it's 30 megapixels. But they've put the actual camera element and lens you can see is like extremely tiny, but they've put this massive decorative surround on it to make it look like it's much larger, but it's clearly
and they
not.
Put like Minolta HD lens on it. Yeah, I know it's not.
Yeah. Do you also notice
no, it's not.
Do you also notice how Minolta is stuck on the top?
With looks like it's photoshopped on there.
Yeah, or just made with like a label maker. I also like how they make the flash appear to be partially lit up in a weird way.
They have also a 56 megapixel one.
Uh-huh.
That looks the same, but oh God. Don't buy these, is all we're saying. These are awful devices.
Yeah, these make me mad because they besmirch the legacy of Minolta.
Yeah, the good name of Minolta.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
So what the teens are doing
is a registered trademark manufactured under license by Elite Brands.
Elite Brands.
Elite Brands, owner of Rockin' On. Okay,
iHome Coleman. They own Coleman.
Coleman? What? They own Coleman?
Excuse
Bell
me?
and Howell? What? Good Lord.
Since when who are these
people? Apparently they licensed the Coleman name for outdoorsy type cameras and such. Bell and Howell. My God. So this is a company that basically has licensed other companies' brands and then is just sticking them on presumably commodity stuff.
Yeah, just
that you
stuff
could
from
get off AliExpress.
Yeah.
They're just drop shipping these, but with Minolta label. I do. Okay, the idea of a Minolta camcorder is very funny to me.
That is very funny. So anyway, what you should do is go on eBay and search for Kodak Easy Share and just get one of those.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Or just ask your old relatives if they have their old.
Ask your parents, ask your grandma. Yeah, like they probably
they still
got
do,
them somewhere.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I've noticed there's a bunch of companies on like Amazon that are making modern replacement batteries for a lot of those common old formats. So you can get them working again. Because the batteries are certainly dead by now, but at least
can I read you the details of the Canon PowerShot ELPH 360 HS digital camera parentheses silver.
Uh-oh.
Out of stock, $329.99. Expected availability 7 to 14 business days on B&H. 20.2 megapixel 1/2 inch CMOS image sensor. Digic 4 Plus image processor. What Digic are we on now? I think we're way past 10.
Yeah, we're okay.
So Digic 4. Digic 4 was introduced in 2008.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The sensor and processor combination reaches all the way up to ISO 3200.
Ooh, all the way, huh?
Yeah. That's pretty good for a film camera. Additionally, the sensor and processor also afford continuous still shooting rates up to 7.2 frames per second and full HD 1080p video recording at 30 frames per second. There you go. Versatile 12x optical zoom offers a 25 to 300 millimeter equivalent focal length range. Built-in Wi-Fi with NFC. So there you go.
Now, what I will say is Nikon does still have 2 Coolpix cameras.
They do.
And it's the extreme zoom ones. So they're like the P1000.
Zooms. Yeah.
The 3000 millimeter zoom.
Yeah.
Which still has its place, I will say. And this came out recently. It was like 2020 or 2021, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They released a new one. So yeah, you can get 3000 millimeter zoom. So if you want to look like a real creep at the club, taking pictures of your friends, here you go. You can buy it new. It's not out of stock or anything. You can just get one.
Here's the thing. Nikon should make a new point and shoot by basically just super gluing like 35 millimeter equivalent lens to the Z30 and selling that.
Not even that. You take the Z30 and you glue that the little pancake
lens
travel lens that they've got, the like 24 to 50 something.
Yeah.
Just do that. Just put those two together and say, here's the point.
And you sell that to $500 for $500. And I guarantee you will sell more of those than you are currently selling Z30s, because who the hell buys a Z30?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is my hire me to be your corporate strategist.
You know what? They don't even have to like package it as a point and shoot. They could just start selling that bundle.
Yeah.
At like Best Buy or something.
Right.
And it would sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hire us. That's all.
Seriously. Fuji seems to be, I guess Fuji and Sony seem to be the only ones who actually get it in terms of having like a decent point and shoot.
Sony doesn't even get it. They don't care about it at all.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's clear that Sony's like they produce the RX 100, but they don't really love it. They haven't really put much into it in some time. But they do produce. Sony produces a weird amount and variety of point and shoot cameras, I must say.
Yeah.
Because the ZV series, the ZV-1 is technically a point and shoot,
right?
Which is weird. They've got the RX 100. I think they still make the RX 1R, which is is a point and shoot with a full frame sensor. The idea of which appeals to me because I am a doofus. Let me see here. All vlog and compact cameras. That's a lovely category. Yeah, you got the ZV-1 too, the ZV-1F, which is just a fixed length because the ZV-1 can zoom. ZV-1F cannot. You've got the HX99. That's like a $500 point and shoot. You have the RX02, which is like a ultra premium GoPro, I guess. This is a weird one.
I don't understand.
Yeah. You've got the RX 100, of course. You've got the RX 10-4, which is their super zoom. You've got the RX 1R2, which is their full frame point and shoot that even has the little viewfinder. That one, $3,300, which feels like a lot for what that is. And then they have like various models of point and shoots that are in like the $100 to $300 range, that I assume are fine. I mean,
probably
whatever. Yeah.
They just don't care about it that much, which I think will prove to be a mistake.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if this is a fad or an actual, trend.
Yeah. We'll see.
How long will this last?
I don't know. So next up, Google has new phones.
I saw this.
Pixel 9, Pixel 9 Pro, which who cares? Other than these are the most iPhone looking Pixels that they've ever made. It's kind of like unbelievable how much of a ripoff these are.
Yeah.
They've got the metal bands with the little breaks in them. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's an iPhone. I'm sorry, Google. You've failed.
Yeah.
But the thing that everyone's talking about with these things is all of the wacky AI photo editing stuff.
Yeah, so I wasn't super up on all this. What can you do with it basically? Can you basically like prompt and say like insert a thing?
So they've got a bunch of different specific features that they've added. Mm-hmm. So one of them they call auto frame, which is part of their magic editor. So it's able to automatically like crop and reframe your image, which could be kind of useful, I suppose. But the new thing that they've added to auto frame is that it can zoom out and fill.
So it has to hallucinate what's.
Yes, it does like a generative fill outward on your image.
Yeah,
which I don't know. Like given how well generative fill works in Photoshop, I'd say it's possible that it's okay.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I mean, it's still creating something from nothing, which feels a bit weird to me.
But, and if you have a fairly basic scene where you just want it to like add more sky or something, it's probably going to be fine. But anything too complicated, it's not going to look good.
Yeah.
So that's one. The next one is a little weird, which is called Add Me.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so what?
Add me on Facebook or add me on LinkedIn?
What this one does? This one, it's kind of clever, but from the reviews, it doesn't seem like it works that well. What this does is, if I'm a photographer, like I'm taking a picture, like a group photo with my phone, right? I take the picture. Then I have one of the people in the group shot come and take my picture in the shot. And then it can merge those two together so that everyone is in the shot.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
If it works.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that will work, but yeah.
Recommend a tripod.
Yeah, for sure. Apparently you can also combine this with the best take feature that they have.
Okay, yeah.
Which lets you do, that's the one that lets you take a burst and then it picks like the best faces and merges that into one picture. It's a little weird. Let's see. We've also got
I'm reading here
night sight panorama improvements.
Okay, yeah. I'm reading here there's a video boost mode which will upscale your 4K 60 to 8K 30.
I don't know why you would want that.
Well, we have so many things on which to view 8K.
Yeah. There was this experiment that Linus Tech Tips did a number of years back where they uploaded like 50% of their videos in upscaled 4K from their 1080p, like they did some upscaling thing. And then they uploaded the other half in actual 4K, and not a single person complained that one of them was lower quality. no one knew the difference.
Yeah,
So they were like, we're just going to shoot in 1080p because it takes up less space.
Yeah. Makes sense.
They've added, generative fill. They've added the thing where you can generate stupid images of putting like a pirate ship in your beach photo. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a little bit too late from Google here. It really feels like this generative AI cycle is coming to an end.
Yeah.
And announcing, like, the Pixel launch event felt very weird because it was all about this AI stuff. And then it kind of
very
feels
curious because the Apple iPhone event is in a week or so. That'll be interesting to see what they have to say there too. Yeah, because they this is like cars that we're still shipping with like iPod cables in like 2014, right? It's like they're just they're designed so many years previous basically, or that they're so I don't know what I'm saying.
I think the difference that will happen with Apple, and they'll probably pull this off, is that Apple Intelligence is not the point of the phone. They won't make it that because it's not even releasing at the same time, allegedly.
Right.
Like, supposedly it's not. I mean, it's not coming. It's not in the iOS 18 beta. It's in the 18.1 beta. So it's not even coming out at the same time.
No.
And so they're kind of decoupling it. And I don't think they're going to try and use the AI stuff as a selling point for the device.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it seems like Google's whole thing is, look at all this AI junk you can do. Which I don't know if people want.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm the AI.
I feel like people
stuff.
aren't going to really do anything more than like gimmicky stuff with it,
Well, yeah, of course. You generate pictures of medieval toilets, and then you forget about it.
Excuse me?
In the Bunta Vista community, there is a Discord channel that is for generating AI images of various toilets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all.
That's very specific.
We're spending, millions of kilowatts to do that.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
Yeah,
that's what it's for, really. Interestingly, though, I want to note on the flip side of all this AI stuff, the camera app Halide has a new version that has this Process Zero feature.
Yeah, I saw that,
which is able to remove almost all of the processing from iPhone photos.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they're doing this, but yeah, they're trying as best they can to remove all processing.
Yeah. See, so now that's interesting. Yeah.
So if you want like exactly what the sensor sees on an iPhone, you can get it. It's not going to look good, I'll tell you. You don't realize how much processing those iPhone cameras do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, like, I guess, backlash almost to all of this over processing.
Yeah. Yeah. Where, I'm just I just stay out of that stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Finally, speaking of the Olympics, what do you think the games of the photographic Olympiad would be?
All right, if you had a
this is just live brainstorming. I think the obvious one is like, putting a roll of film in a camera, but there's different difficulties, right? Just like there's different, like lengths that you have to run. So there's like, okay, the point and shoot from the 90s, that one's pretty easy, But then there's like, putting a roll of film in a Pentax 6.7, and how fast can you do that? And if you can get it in under like 5 minutes, like that's a pretty good score, because that camera is ridiculous to spool film into.
Here's what I'm envisioning: the biathlon, but instead of shooting guns, you have to load and shoot some kind of, I don't know, so like a
right,
a big like single shot, those old timey portrait cameras or something.
You have a view camera that you have to set up, and
Yeah. So you have to ski 2 miles, and then you have to, with your heart rate pumping and wearing gloves, you have to like assemble this contraption and shoot it, and then ski another 2 miles.
Yeah, and it's a view camera, but it's like fully folded up. You know, the lens is taken out. The film isn't even in the film holder.
Well, and you have to carry it on your back too. You have to carry the whole thing.
Right, yeah. So you have to set up the tripod, you have to set up the view camera, you know, unfold it, set up the standards, put the lens on there, load the film into the film back, focus it, you know. Yeah. And Fresnel lenses are forbidden for focusing screens. That's not allowed.
Yeah.
That's cheating. That's a technical cheating thing. I also think during the skiing, you know, you should have to like have set up like an action camera or something, you know?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like a GoPro.
Well, I'm thinking too, like maybe there's like a triathlon where like while you're swimming, you have to use like a, you know, like waterproof camera to take a photo or something. And then, I don't know. I think there's there's like, how quickly can you set up one of those umbrella style, soft boxes?
Yeah.
Because they're a pain in the butt. How many bounces can you fold up in like a given time, you know?
I feel like there's got to be some film development challenge. Yeah. I'm thinking like a Rubik's Cube competition type thing where you have to like do it like everything is in a little box, you know, it's one of those like portable darkroom things. You can't really look in there. You got to do it all by feel.
Right. Yeah.
Some sort of skill-based competition. Obviously, there has to be something motion, like high speed motion related.
Yeah.
Maybe you are taking, you know, BMX pictures, but you're also on a BMX bike.
How many like sandbags can you carry up a hill or something?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I think there should be like a Tetris type challenge where it's like how many cameras and lenses can you fit into a like given standard model of backpack, you know?
Like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know how you judge those though.
Well, you count them up, don't you?
Yeah, but you also have to like test it for durability, right? Because you can fit a lot of lenses.
I mean, you gotta. Yeah.
But as soon as you hand it to United, you know they're all destroyed.
Yeah, well, we've got some baggage handlers from, you know, whatever the host city's airport is in, and they're just going to toss it onto the belt, you know, and then we review it after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, geez. What else? There's a lot you could do.
Something with those big white professional lenses.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if there's something you could do with like balancing and tripods and long lenses. Like you gotta.
Oh yeah. For sure.
How well can you balance it just right, you know? Line it up on the horizon and all that. Let's see.
Something with drones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the actual Olympics are pretty much difficult for photographers to do.
Well, that's true.
It's kind of a workout on its own, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of like, I don't know, impressive photos from this Olympics.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get one that's like, wow, that's a pretty cool picture. But I feel like I didn't see a lot of that from this one.
Yeah.
Other than the breakdancing girl, you know. Or the guy, the Turkish sharpshooter.
Oh yeah. No, that was those are. I guess those were the pistol competition is probably where the most. But that's not necessarily. I think because of the photo so much as
it's because of the guy
being photographed, right? Well, and the crazy girl who had the like apparatus,
the weird glasses things, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The dichotomy of sharpshooters.
You have to do like, you know, sport shooting. You have to wear that apparatus while trying to use a viewfinder, you know, or something like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking something with like framing, but you have to use various devices. So you have like a rangefinder is one.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a waist level viewfinder.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, like how, between a rangefinder and a waist level finder and a viewfinder camera and nail the focus just right kind of thing.
You make DSLR guys use EVFs. See how well they can do with that.
Yeah.
They swear they can never use an EVF,
Right. Well, we've got to level the playing field, so.
What would doping look like in the photographic Olympiad?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know what kind of performance enhancing drugs you could take.
Yeah. I think it'd more be, so it's interesting that none of these are really about the quality of the photo produced, but more like
no
kind of thing. But yeah. Because that's academic.
We don't care about that.
Yeah.
We're looking for feats of strength.
Exactly. Impress me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe there's like a speed lens construction where you have all these optical elements and you have to put a lens together, Yeah,
and then you judge by the optical quality of the final product.
Yeah, right.
See how messed up it is.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyway, good ideas. IOC, reach out.
LA 28, we're ready.
LA, we're ready. Well, speaking of LA, you're going to spot LAX here.
I am. In 2 weeks, I'll be down there.
Very soon. Yes.
We've got this year, there's a rooftop party at the H Hotel. If you don't have tickets already, sorry.
Too bad.
It's sold out.
Too late. Yeah.
Saturday night, we have a dinner over at the Proud Bird, which is near LAX. That's open to anyone. Come on down. And the same for Saturday morning is Cranky Dork Fest at the In-N-Out near LAX, the one that everybody goes to. All of those are open. The only thing that needs tickets is the Friday night. So if you happen to be in the LA area, come on down. It'll be fun. There's usually hundreds of people there. Sometimes airline representatives show up to give us Spirit Airlines sunglasses or whatever. That's what they had last year.
I gotta pay attention for next year to make plans because
it's usually the second or third week of September.
Yeah, well, and usually don't they usually announce the proper date in May timeframe ish?
No, sometimes it's earlier.
Oh well, whatever.
This year it was right after. Last year, so no, they announced 2024's dates in October of last year.
Oh, okay.
Right after.
Well, keep paying attention, I guess, then. Because here's the thing. I was going to take my nice new lens and go plane spotting today, but there's just not a lot of that to be had here in Columbus.
No.
Because number one, our airport is not that exciting anyway in terms of airlines and things coming in and out. It's oh, look, a yellow Spirit plane.
Well, what
look,
you
a Southwest 737.
Next June, there'll be Airliners International in Missouri, which I think is closer to you than LA.
Yeah. That is true.
That's pretty
International.
Big too.
Oh, this one, Airliners International. It says Atlanta.
Oh, is it Atlanta? This
Atlanta,
past
Georgia.
year was Missouri, but
okay, yeah.
Either way, that's also a very fun airliner, air people event. Avgeek, that's the word I was looking for.
Anyway, there also just aren't a lot of good places to post up near the airport to take photos.
Yeah,
either.
that's one of the big problems is actually having a place to do that. LAX has a ton of good places. San Francisco has one, but a lot of them don't have it, and some of the airports are really touchy about it. If you try to go and post up on the roof of the parking garage. They'll like send security after you. Like,
it's interesting because at Columbus's airport, that is actually their guidance is go onto the top of the parking garage.
I mean, that's not so bad.
It's not, but I just feel a bit weird doing it. And I kind of expect for someone to like come up to me, you know? And, yeah. Also, you have to pay for parking.
Well, yeah. But I do that when I go to San Jose. If there's ever anything at San Jose, I just go to the parking lot and go to the roof. They don't seem to care about that.
Yeah.
But at SFO, they tell you not to do it.
We have some general aviation airports. There's one that has like an actual observation lounge. It used to be they built a new terminal about 5-ish years ago. It used to be that the observation lounge was literally the old control tower, which was, you know, just very small. It was a little room, which was kind of neat. But then they tore that down and built a new terminal. So now they have an observation lounge that's actually has kind of worse sight lines because it's not as high and it doesn't have like a 360 view kind of thing. But at least they have a particular area for like, here's where you can watch planes. But yeah.
Which
I'm
one's
a little sad.
CMH?
No, OSU, which is the one I'm talking about here.
There's a NetJets flight EJA 418 coming in at 1:42 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay,
that's the only.
Well, I mean, you get lots of student pilots out of OSU. Obviously, it's the university airport, and then you get just general aviation stuff.
Tonight at Columbus, you have an Ultimate Air Shuttle ERJ 135 coming in at 8:22 p.m. From Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you get.
I'm trying to think. There's like a charter that operates out of the OSU airport that is like a Dassault Falcon twin jet. I think is like the largest plane that you usually get there. But yeah, it's mostly you know, Cessnas.
Yeah. If you're interested
get like
in
a
doing
Pilatus
this kind of
or a Diamond, but yeah.
If you, the listener, want to do this kind of thing, there's a great app called Jet Tip that covers most airports in North America. And
a better AvGeek experience.
You can pick the airports you want, and it will tell you when anything interesting is showing up. You usually got 12 to 24 hours notice that something is coming. It's great. It's $5 a month. Worth it if this is the kind of thing you like to do. And it's made by one guy, so you know that's pretty good.
Is there anything coming into Rickenbacker? I doubt it. But
Let's see. Rickenbacker International.
LCK.
There's a FedEx 767 coming in at 6 p.m.
Okay, yeah, that's probably not unusual for that because that's the cargo airport for here. So, and it's the cargo airport unless you're flying Allegiant, in which case you fly out of Rickenbacker because that's their whole thing, I guess.
There's a China Airlines. What is this? What kind of plane is this? China Airlines 5281 is taking off from Rickenbacker International this afternoon.
Interesting.
Going to Seattle, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing like Cargo Lux and stuff flies into Rickenbacker, which is
Andrew,
interesting.
Okay. If you want to see something interesting at Rickenbacker, this China Airlines 5821 takes off at 12:15 a.m. So
great.
But sure it's a 747-400.
Okay, yeah.
So that's like actually we don't get something.
Yeah,
you know,
we don't get 747s here very much. So
you get one from China, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with SFO too. We don't get a lot of the big jets because they either go to LAX or Seattle.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them come here. We'll get, 777s or 787s, things like that, but no Not a lot of 747s. A380s come, but only on the weekends. That's about it.
I was gonna say I think at John Glenn Columbus, which I'm just gonna call Port Columbus, force of habit. Like 737 is that's really all you get.
Yeah,
that's as large as you get. There's not really anything bigger than that.
Sometimes we get like the big jets diverting into San Jose from San Francisco. That's kind of interesting to see a 777 try to land there.
Yeah,
I guess the runway's big enough, but really it's not meant for that. Then you'll get the shortest 777 flights on the planet as they fly from San Jose to San Francisco. Costs like $100,000 to go. I don't know, 40 miles.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's always funny to me.
Yeah.
Well, this has been Sensor Noise, podcast about photography and airplanes
and jets and phones.
Yep.
We're not really good at staying in our niche.
No, but that's okay.
Yeah.
People tune in for you, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They tune in for the banter, as they say in England.
Yeah.
We'll be back on schedule now. It's the school season, so as you know,
we're buckling down now.
Yeah, we got to get serious.
We're putting away all of our terrible old habits, and
there we go. So, gonna hit the gym, lawyer up, delete Facebook, all that.
All things I've been doing.
We'll talk to you next time.